Welcome back to the Tasty Groove. This is going to be the second time we've ever done this, right?
Yeah.
So the very first episode was just you and I.
And now.
So we were going to have Jake Miller of Heirloom on this week. Well, first it was going to be last week.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be this week. The guy just can't catch a break. He's just under the weather and not feeling well. So get well. Mr. Miller will sip some of, he told me the beers that he was going to bring.
Oh, goodness. I'm excited.
They're collaborations and they're really fucking badass. So it's going to be really, really cool. Like people in other parts of the country. And yeah, it's going to be great. So
I can't wait then.
Yeah, I brought today. So basically what we're going to do is just talk for a few minutes. And drink a beer and some bourbon and then call it a day. We just missed you guys and we missed talking. So so here we are. As I pour this.
What do we got?
This is a barrel pick that my buddy Trey Winkle picked up for me from Deep Discount, which I think is down at like 61st and Harvard. Okay-ish. I hadn't had a 1792 full proof yet, and I definitely hadn't had a 1792 full proof barrel pick. So, like a store pick. So I'm very curious to try this. I've heard good things. How's the nose?
Nose is really smooth.
Sweet.
Very rosy.
Oh, yeah.
Like cherry wood.
Yeah, it's really good. How was St. Patrick's Day? You guys had the big thing on Saturday, right?
St. Patrick's Day was awesome. I think we had about 1,200 people show up, something like that. 1,200 to 1,300 people show up.
I was not one of them because I'm hobbled.
Yeah, that's okay.
I thought about texting you and being like, should I try to?
It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. So here's my story. My St. Patrick's Day was spent on the couch watching NCAA basketball. But not by choice. Tuesday night, I got home from 2 work meetings, and it was dark.
Yeah.
But it was dusk. It wasn't night.
So not necessarily an inappropriate time to run.
In hindsight.
Well, sure.
Very, very poor decision. But I've done it before. We'll just put it that way. It was dark enough where, like, if I wasn't wearing reflective clothing, it probably wasn't a good idea. Okay. But it wasn't, pitch black. So anyway, I'll look outside.
We've all done that.
Yeah. I'll look outside and I'm like, oh, I can get a run in before, it gets too dark or whatever. And I had maybe had a cocktail or two and thought it was a good idea. So I changed real quick and got about halfway. I was going to run about 2-3 miles, somewhere like that. I got about halfway through and I was running down Delaware and I was looking ahead at the oncoming cars. I was on the sidewalk and not looking at where I was running. And I say it was a pothole. It wasn't a pothole because it was on the sidewalk, but it was just a busted up section of the sidewalk that I wasn't paying attention to. And I had a bad ankle from my high school basketball days. This is probably the 15th time I've sprained it. Ouch. And it was so bad, dude. It sent me flying. Like I stepped on it and just heard it. Like, and I just went ended up in the grass. My leg was like, I didn't realize, but I had
Did you have to call someone?
So that's part of the story. So like, I'm laying there, and it's that if you've been there and sprained anything or broken anything or whatever,
100%.
There's just that moment of like right when it happens when you're like, oh shit.
This is not gonna feel good.
Yeah, like how am I gonna get home? Like what is happening right now? And so I got up and started hobbling, and I was like, yep, this is a good one. This one was good.
He's still hobbling through.
Still, yeah,
everything.
Now, granted, it's only been 1 week as of today. And
that's
bad sprains can take 2 to 3, sometimes 4 weeks to get you back to normal.
Yeah.
So I kind of rounded the corner and then turned around and I had, I don't know, it was like pebbles or like something on my leg. And so I reached down to like brush it off and I brought my hand back. It was just full of blood. And I was like, wait, what? And I looked down and when I fell, like I was on the sidewalk.
Did you fall into the pothole or to the sidewalk?
I fell forward. So like I was running, stepped, I was like, and then went kind of forward at an angle, ended up in the grass, but my knee and like leg I fell across like the rough part of the sidewalk or whatever, and it was just a mess. So I ended up like, for some reason, I thought it would be a smart idea to call my family as I was walking home just to like talk to someone, but they're in Dallas, so there's not a damn thing they could have done. But my sister was like, I hear, what's wrong? Like, something's wrong with your voice. And I was like, oh, I'm in bad shape, Jen. Like,
I'm in pain.
yeah, like, but I know who else to call. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing.
Get you.
Yeah. But I mean, I was only a mile-ish from home. So I hobbled home and spent Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, pretty much not doing anything. The whole ice compression elevation thing. And,
it's a whole process.
Yeah. So now I'm weaning myself off of the ice and all that stuff. So.
But I want you to know that we raised many glasses of beer.
I appreciate
St. Patty's Day for you.
How are you feeling Sunday?
So an interesting part of that is I love celebrating St. Patty's Day, and it's literally one of my favorite holidays of the year. Just because you get to see so many people come together, celebrate together, and it's just basically an excuse to get a horde of people in one area drinking beer together. Usually, if you're elsewhere, lots of whiskey or something like that.
Sure.
But when you're hosting, you have to have a completely different mindset of that party.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of a bunny rabbit or what we call a floater.
You are a floater.
In the parties, and that basically means that my job is to keep the day going forward smoothly and
shake hands, kiss babies.
Yeah, and you can't necessarily. So for all of you listening, just kind of an insider thing of how those days work is they are very systematic. They're very planned. We've got things going, even though like on the outside it looks very fluid, but
it's
on
not.
The inside. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, at this point in time, it's a lot more practiced. And Lisa is a savant at planning parties. So when she, has the reins, Lisa is my wife and president of the company.
We did have her on the podcast.
We do. We really, really do. Which, you're good.
I went to say something and then I stopped and then I choked.
Yeah. Which is actually a cool. So Lisa is president, and if you guys didn't know, Cabin Boys is actually majority owned by women. Did you not know that?
Well, her and your mom.
Yeah.
Right.
So and then I am obviously.
Is there something you're trying to tell us, Austin?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. What I'm trying to say is,
you identify as a man now, but you're really a woman, or what are you trying to say?
No. Okay. No, the company is. It's interesting that Cabin Boys is like my nickname and my dad's nickname of building the cabin and this, that, and the other, and ends up the brewery is
cabin girls would be cabin women.
Actually majority owned by women. But anyways, during those parties, it's very systematic. We've got things going, coming in, coming out, and so where I'm trying to go with this story is I can't necessarily get tipsy or drunk or anything during my own parties. Now, it's getting a little bit closer to that where I can, let go of the reins a little bit more.
Sure.
But so I was feeling perfectly fine, other than like my joints hurt
from walking so much.
And my throat hurt from talking so
AKA
much.
You're getting old.
Yep, I'm getting old. So it wasn't necessarily so much a St. Patty's hangover. It was a St. Patty's tired hangover.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you guys were smart and did your party on Saturday. You didn't compete with the Arnie's / McNelly's / Kilkenny's. Yeah.
Well, Kilkenny's, did you hear how many people showed up for that event?
I didn't hear the number, but I saw so many Instagram stories and posts that
25,000 people showed up.
Good Lord. That's total over the day?
25,000.
Or was that at a peak moment?
No. That's total. Total during the day.
Man alive.
Lisa and I actually served beer during that event.
At where at?
Yeah, they just asked us to volunteer at the beer tent.
Okay.
And I calculated it. I was serving, Lisa and I together as a team were serving, I think, somewhere in between 3 and 4 beers every 30 seconds of the 4-hour stint that we were there. And we were one of 4 lines.
I've never been more proud of Tulsa in my life. That is so much beer.
So that is actually a really cool thing, to talk about is we've all, goodness, we fought COVID, and we still are at some level, but like we had 25,000 people. Lisa and I were 40 deep for 4 hours straight.
That's incredible.
And
that's incredible.
That's such a really
you weren't having to pour like Guinness, were you?
Yeah, I was pouring everything that Kilkenny's had to offer. But the cool thing is
but doesn't Guinness take a while?
So when you're pouring Guinness at an event like that, you still want to pour it correctly. Mm-hmm. So we pre-poured half of the Guinnesses,
smart,
like 25 at a time, and had them like ready. And if someone ordered, then you pour the other half, let it settle, and then technically, if you want to serve a Guinness perfectly, you've got to let it settle before handing it to the customer.
Okay.
But at an event like that, no one's really expecting that, so we would hand them the beer while it's settling, and that obviously gave enough time to like get their money in hand and back to them. And so, but yeah, we were selling everything that Kilkenny's had. But the cool thing is like, especially for Cabin Boys, Kilkenny's loves us. We were actually on their staff shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
It's Cabin Boys served here, Kilkenny's, which is really, really
that's
rad.
Really cool. Yeah.
And we were the two center handles of the beer tent. So
that's awesome.
It was really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. Let me ask this. Is St. Patrick's Day a holiday?
Well,
because
it's become that.
Right. But I mean, I don't know why I thought this, but technically, because the banks are still open,
mm-hmm.
no one gets off work necessarily.
Well, it's not a national holiday for America.
Is it for Ireland?
It's for Ireland.
Okay. It actually is a recognized national holiday over there? Okay.
Well, and if I'm misquoting, I'm sorry, but in my understanding, it is a national holiday over there.
Gotcha. And America just likes to drink, and so...
Yeah. It's kind of like Cinco de Mayo for us.
Fair.
And
which also isn't a holiday. Yeah.
We've just adopted holidays that allow us to drink more alcohol.
And I'm not shitting on St. Patrick's Day. I would have loved to have been out at the Kilkenny's mob of people.
Because technically, like Oktoberfest is not a national holiday, but we've just
It is for me, boy.
Oh, you better believe it. For the record, Oktoberfest is my number one holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over Christmas.
Corporate night.
Over Thanksgiving.
That first Wednesday or Thursday night, whichever night it is now.
100%.
I mean, I will never, in the remaining 364 days until that comes around, eat pork cutlet, eat streusel, or drink that much Dunkel or Oktoberfest beer in one place.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, it's just not happening.
So let me ask you a question on those kinds of holidays. So as opening up a brewery, providing those kinds of days and parties and celebrations and this, that, and the other, I've kind of I still look forward to them. I drink way too much at Oktoberfest, but also at the same time, I've kind of lost the essence of what it is to be a customer. What is it for you that draws you into those days from a customer standpoint of not being from behind the curtain?
That's a great question.
Why do you think? So let me rephrase that.
Yeah,
why do you think that people come out for those things regularly?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say that it's an escape for most people. That it's a one or two. Well, I mean, I guess Oktoberfest technically is like a full long weekend, but for me, it's a one day on the calendar. Like I only do. Sometimes I'll go back on Sunday. Back when there were tickets, if my friends had extra tickets, and you could just grab them and go and watch the Wiener Dog races and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like for most people, it's a once a year party that you know exactly when it's going to be. You can plan for it. You can get sitters. You can get whatever you need, right? A hotel nearby if you're from
you can travel
out, right? Like, and it's just, to me, it's the experience of here's what I look for in a festival environment, right?
Yeah.
Flow of traffic.
Help us plan.
Flow of traffic.
Okay.
That to me is the biggest thing, and not traffic like getting in and out, like not that kind of traffic, But what I love about Oktoberfest is I usually go with Josh Royal and
Mm-hmm.
Hayden, and he usually has a table most of the time in the Marshall's tent.
You're going to have to get me in
Yeah,
on that.
we can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. And so that's home base, but we're there for maybe 15 minutes of the entire night because you're jumping to the main tent, you're throwing pennies in people's beer, you're doing the chicken dance, you're going
to Siggy.
here, you're standing in front of the weird ass dancing people that are, I mean, those people are fucking so weird, but I love them to death. Like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I dance in German festivals like an old wooden doll or something.
You're like, is this an annual thing?
Yeah, it's so weird, but I love it to death. And then we sneak over and we ride some rides, and then we get nauseated, and we come back and we eat some food, and then we go. I mean, it's just like the flow for me, and it's the same like GABF. I love, and I love because you go into one big communal space, but there's so many different places to visit and to see and to drink and to try things, and it's to me it gets really stagnant, and I get over it quickly if I come into a place and it's just like, okay, here it is.
Right.
I'm breaking shit, and there's not a lot of movement. There's not a lot of, it's just stagnant, right?
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Do you think that also knowing that a lot of people are going to be there is also kind of a thing?
Yeah, in a weird way, because I've also, Oktoberfest is a weird one because normally if I know a shit ton of people are going to be somewhere, I don't really care if I go or not.
Right.
Like, and I don't care about being seen. Like I lived that life. Like it's not a thing to be where everybody else is for me.
Right.
But Oktoberfest is different. I think it's just because it's so much fun. Like Hayden Josh's wife comes from a German family. She has a real Drindle or not Drindle. That's
Dirndl.
the guys. Or is that the girls?
Dirndl.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Dirndl. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was saying it Americanized.
You're good. You're good.
And the Lederhosen Josh got like ordered from Germany. Like they go all out.
Heck.
Hayden's parents or her dad and Elise come over and they take pictures. Like, I mean, it's just like a whole thing, right? We walk over from their house because they live just across the river. It's just like a whole experience, right?
Yeah.
And I also go to see everyone because that's like literally the one time of year where I see some of those people.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so it's like, that's the one like caveat in my whole like, oh, there's going to be a bunch of people there. Yeah, I don't really care to go.
Yeah, it's Oktoberfest.
Yeah, and I don't say, and I don't want to sound like I'm anti having fun in like big like places, but like I would rather come to Cabin Boys and sit with like 3 or 4 people and have a beer than go to a beer festival every weekend.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
My allergies are killing me.
You're good. Could I have a little bit more of this?
Yeah, and then tell me what we got in front of you.
Yeah. So I brought 918 Cerveza today because we canned it. This can actually came off of the line probably 25 minutes ago.
Jeez.
This actually is still cold from the tank. This has never come into a refrigerator.
That's what you call fresh.
Yeah, it's super fresh. But the cool thing is so 918 Cerveza, Lisa just murdered it on the beauty of this label. But also, it's a collaboration that we're doing with FC Tulsa, the soccer club here, and they're just excited. We're excited about it with them. The QR code is actually going to be able to take you to ticket
just
sales.
about to mention that.
Yeah, so it's going to be able to take you to ticket sales, merch sales, I think, and the video about the collaboration. And they're a little bit shaken up because they just came off of the canning line. So, but yeah, so that's really cool. We've never had a QR code on our
I was going to ask if that was the first one. Yeah.
I honestly think that might be one of Oklahoma's first QR codes on a can.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. We like to do lots of firsts.
So what makes a lager a Mexican style lager?
So technically a cerveza.
Queso?
Yeah. Technically a cerveza.
Don't say yeah. People are going to think you're serious. There's no queso in that beer.
No queso. No. It goes well with queso.
I mean, yeah.
But no, so cerveza technically comes from German heritage, because German brewers actually started the brewing processes and culture within Mexico. But the reason that the cerveza, which literally just means beer in Mexican, but Spanish for the lack of.
I was going to see if you fixed that.
That's an argument to be made. They are.
What are you speaking? American?
We do speak American.
You're right.
But obviously they're using in those times and still today the ingredients that they have surrounded by them. So that's why you primarily taste corn in a cerveza, because they started using corn because they couldn't necessarily provide 100% malt pilsners
So is that the short answer to my question? It's more corn?
It's more corn.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that our malt bill is 30% corn in this.
And on normal lager, would it be what?
Normal lagers usually is just
0%?
100% malt. Yeah, zero corn. So that's why you've got a little bit of tortilla flavors and true Mexican style lagers. So
there's really nothing about it that's Mexican. It's just because there's corn in there, people associate it with
technically
corn masa and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, technically there's nothing like traditionally Mexican in beer, because the Germans actually came and started brewing over there. So
interesting.
Yeah, but the reason that it became Mexican is because they adopted it and they started drinking it, and then it became a style because primarily
really
at that point in time corn wasn't used. So
why do most Mexican cervezas get served with the lime?
I think that's marketing.
Okay,
that's 100%.
It's not
marketing.
because the corn goes well with lime.
I think that probably could be it too.
Yeah.
I think that lime goes well with a lot of different stuff, but I think limes, are a representation of a little bit more of that Mexican heritage. So
you know what I hate the most? The biggest farce to me is the fucking Blue Moon people.
Now that's invented.
You don't need an orange in your damn wheat beer.
No,
Come
on.
on.
That's
yes, you have orange notes in the tasting profile of your beer.
Yeah.
But for God's sake.
The crazy thing is with Blue Moon, when they put the orange on top of their glasses, when they started making bars, put oranges on top of their glasses, 100% volume increase. 100 overnight.
I'm going to figure out a way to say this without sounding sexist. But I don't know if there is one. So I'm just going to say it. And I apologize if it comes across wrong. I think that appealed, and the reason for that growth is it appealed to more than just men. If you have fruit on your beer.
And I don't think that has to necessarily be offensive.
Yeah, and I don't mean it to be. I just think
because
that's who they reached in doing that.
Beer is a great liquid, no matter what it is. Yeah. And, the cool thing now, 57% of craft beer drinkers are women now.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, Turner, do you want a beer? No? Okay.
No, you're good.
Turner's back there. I was just making sure he didn't want to try the beer while we're talking about it.
Extras.
Fair. I wasn't sure Turner was 21. Yeah. He's 19. As I said that, I wasn't sure he was 21, but I figured he would say no if he wasn't.
We hadn't carded him yet. Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, I was like, he's going to say no if he's underage, I hope. Because I'm not quite sure how old he is. Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, it's a really cool deal. Even with Blue Moon selling more because it could have appealed to women better. That's a really cool moment in time, I think, of being able to sell your product to people that.
I can tell you as a bartender, that was not a cool moment in time.
I bet it was not, because you had to cut up oranges and all sorts of stuff.
Then people started asking for grapefruits and shandies, and it opened the door to the Pandora's box of.
Yeah, that was the foot in the door to let's go all the way to pastry stouts.
Yeah, pretty
that
much.
That was the
You're
first
right.
one.
And then WeldWorks was born.
Oh my gosh. But
I love WeldWorks, by the way.
hey, when you don't make bad product, and actually make really good product, you're gonna do well.
Did you hear who was in town this week? Aaron Franklin.
Really?
Yeah.
We should have had him on the
I didn't know he was coming. Aaron Franklin. You got to let me know these things. No, he walked into Valkyrie last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because they got on the James Beard?
The prevailing thought was, and no one really asked him, which I love about Tulsa. Like you can see Jack White, you can see Aaron Franklin, whoever it is, and you're not going to go up to them and like get in their shit, But
Tulsa's a place that people can wear their hair down.
Yeah, I think someone overheard him talking about some of his. Either he was picking up something that was being welded here or manufactured here or fabricated here for one of his smokers or something like that.
Okay.
Could have to do with Hasty Bake. I'm not 100% sure. Just a thought. But
maybe he was coming up to eat some 1907.
Maybe 1907. He could do the whole 1907 to Oakheart to. I mean, there's just so many good barbecue restaurants right now.
Maybe he just heard the good word.
Maybe he wanted to come on the tasting room and he didn't know how to get a hold of us, so he went to Valkyrie because he knew Aaron Post was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
hoping we would be posted up at the bar. And now maybe tonight he's going to Hodges because Noah's been on the podcast. So why don't we just end this soon and go to Hodges and meet Aaron Franklin?
Yeah,
God,
man, good plan.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Oh man, I tell you what. Right now, being in Tulsa is awesome. It is super fun.
Yeah.
Every single person. So
I agree with that.
I kid you not, in the last month, probably 50 customers to the bar that are out of state that have moved to Tulsa.
Interesting. You just reminded me of something. So did you see who was at BOK Center recently? The Biebs.
No way.
So Justin Bieber had a concert at the BOK Center.
I'm not a Biebs fan, but
me neither.
I get it.
I mean, he's talented. Yeah. Talented dude. Not my kind of music, but talented dude. But so he shared, someone interviewed him, two ladies interviewed him kind of like social media style, like not well produced, but asking him like 10 questions.
Sure.
And one of the questions was, what is your favorite city to go to on your tour? And he was like, oof. He was like, to play in or to like go out afterwards or what? And they were like, all the above. And he's like, probably Tulsa.
No.
He actually said that. And they were like, that's random. He's like, well, have you been to Tulsa? And they were like, no. And he's like, dude, it's like, there's so many things to do. And the crowd is always awesome. And the food is great. And there's this and there's that. It was a Tulsa infomercial from fucking Justin Bieber.
That's
of all people. Yeah.
Well,
it was really cool.
I've heard that from a lot of different celebrities. Not a lot. Maybe.
I mean, Jack White owns a house here, right?
Yeah, Jack White owns a house here.
And he bought it because he liked playing at Cane's.
Brad Pitt, I know, loves coming here.
Yeah, he lives out.
Technically from Bartlesville. Right?
He, I think so. He bought his mom a house at. So if you go to Lake Skytook and you go to Cross Timbers Marina, when you turn in to go down to the marina, that neighborhood, one of those houses he bought for his mom.
That's crazy.
Or bought the land, built the house.
And we're talking about Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Zachary Levi, the guy who played Chuck. I'm curious if he actually moved here. That was the thought, and he mentioned it. But then I watched a live from him the other day, and he was in a house that looked like his in Atlanta. So maybe he has multiple homes, and he just bounces, or I'm not sure.
I hope that, I love that Tulsa's like I hate saying the best kept secret. We're just the secret that no one knows about, if that makes sense.
It does, but I wonder if that still holds true.
Maybe it doesn't.
Because I don't know if it's a secret if people like Justin Bieber are talking about it, it's something because there's not 5 million people that live here.
No.
So it's something. Like Me too.
I like that. I can still buy a house for $170,000
or $250,000 or whatever.
Or whatever.
No, I'm kidding. I'm in the process of selling my house. Right? Yeah.
I said 170 because that's the average.
Is it?
Tulsa.
In Tulsa?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So mine's on the high end, but whatever.
No, you're not even on the high end.
Well, higher than the average.
Yeah.
What else was I? There was one other thing I was going to say. Are you an F1 fan?
Yes.
Did you see that we started an F1 watch party fan club group with Jake, who was supposed to be here today? We were going to talk about it. So every race, Sundays, whether it's morning, like this one coming up in a few days, is at noon. He puts it on the projector. This time we'll have
Heirloom?
Yeah, we'll have Dante's doing pizza, buy beer.
By the way, they get away with so much. How are they getting away with being F1?
Literally just
parties?
because he's an F1 fan and he asked me if I wanted to come watch it there, and then it just became like a thing.
I love F1.
All right, so I'll see you Sunday at noon.
Perfect.
Cool.
Right on.
Yeah. So if you had Dante's wood fire pizza, by the way,
I have. Man, we need to have
Bo's game changer. Like
Yeah.
that's
his pizza's awesome.
unreal. No offense or like any slight towards
No,
Mike
no.
Bausch or anyone at Annalini's or anyone anywhere else.
Tulsa is just a great scene. For
That fucking pizza, dude.
It is awesome.
And it comes out of a trailer.
Comes
The
out
size
a
of the new trailer out in front of our studio right now.
Yes. And it is
Yeah.
game changer awesome.
So what was really cool is Sunday that was the first race, the Bahrain Grand Prix,
Mm-hmm.
and Heirloom shared a couple things that they were going to have the race on, so come watch it at like 10 a.m. But what was cool is, I was there, Jake was there, Melissa was there. There was a couple regulars, but then like 6 different couples showed up that no one knew that were just F1 fans in Tulsa that saw the post and wanted to come watch the race. And so
That's so cool.
that's what inspired, we needed to make a Facebook group and we needed to make it not official, but like somewhat official. So there's like a Tulsa F1 fan club Facebook group, which
That's so cool.
yeah, join it.
I've
and
watched
there'll be
the entire Netflix
Oh yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately have to watch that by myself.
Did you
when
see
Lisa's
what
not around.
Yuki Tsunoda's new nickname is?
No.
The Cardio King. Because of Drive to Survive. If you guys don't
That's
know,
awesome.
he's
That's
I think he's
awesome.
Japanese, right?
Yeah,
he's
Japanese.
a Japanese driver.
This would be his second year.
His second year, was a rookie last year, and they shipped him. So Drive to Survive comes out. The one that's out on Netflix now is talking about last season, which was
Right.
the best championship race like I'd ever seen in my life.
It was literally a drive to
I mean, it was unreal. But so he was a rookie last year. In if there was a channel where I could just listen to Yuki Tsunoda talking to his crew, I would do it. Because at one point, he talks about like,
has no
I fucking hate this car. It was like, they're paying you millions of dollars to drive this car. Like, I would not. And their response every time was just like, okay, Yuki.
Okay.
It's just like, just stop talking.
Keep driving.
But they made him move from England to Italy, I believe, just to be near someone that was going to, like the team principal, I think,
Right.
so that he could oversee his workout regimen and his just
Because
like
he wasn't disciplined enough.
at all, right?
Yeah.
Change his discipline. And so there's this scene, I don't remember which episode it is, but there's this scene where he's getting ready to work out. And he was like, I hate working out. He was like, it makes me feel awful for the rest of the day.
It's like you
Yeah.
and I were F1
Yeah.
drivers.
No,
We're
but
like,
I like working out.
No, I have nothing against working out.
Yeah.
I wish I did more of it,
Fair.
but
Fair.
hey,
But it was so funny because then it's like showing his workout and he starts running and like halfway down the hill, he's like, can we be done? And the trainer's like, no, like, keep running. And so now his new nickname is the Cardio King,
that's awesome.
which just 100% makes me
That's
laugh every time.
awesome. I have an interesting question for you. After all of the conversations that we've had with everyone on the show, what do you think the top 3 things that are highlights of why Tulsa in this area is growing? I know that we've had a couple of people that are outside of Tulsa, but
Only one, right?
Only one.
Yeah.
Well,
Balcones.
Lisa from Farm Bar is kind of outside.
I bet she
of
bought a
Tulsa.
house in Tulsa.
Yeah,
She has
yeah,
Farm
yeah.
Bar in Tulsa.
Yeah.
Living kitchens
So-
outside of Tulsa.
But
Which also, hold on, real quick. I feel really bad for them and for Burnco for what happened with the fire, right? So
that's
do us a solid.
terrible.
Order barbecue from Jinx, the Burnco location. But then Farm Bar is doing Thursday night pop-ups at the old LaSalle's downtown. So I have a reservation for this Thursday.
Oh wow!
So yeah, support whenever you can because
Did they get in the lane of fire in that?
For the Burnco stuff. So Lisa posted. So we're recording this on a Tuesday. She posted yesterday during the rain, and she went and they're still waiting on Burnco to fix whatever happened there, so that they can fix what happened at their place because they had roof damage and they had smoke damage and they had all this other stuff.
I mean, I could smell that fire at my house.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is 4 miles away.
So anyway, ask your question, but I just wanted you mentioned Lisa, and I wanted to say like if you can make reservations and go out to LaSalle's on Thursdays.
Yeah, I mean
for their pop up.
We've had what?
It's a la carte too. A la carte. Yeah.
We've had what? 12 conversations so far, 12 or 13 conversations about Tulsa.
Yeah.
What, in your own words, 3 things that defines Tulsa and why it's awesome? I mean,
that's a big question, bro. To just throw on me without.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I mean, Tulsa's cool to me, and to both of us.
Yeah.
And
I'll say this. So
it's fun to prop up Tulsa, but also at the same time, like.
So I'll say 3. So you said what? 3 things?
3 things.
I have 2.
And you could keep it to 2.
No,
that was just a random thought in my brain. Like, what?
So I think 2. I think I could say 3. So I think sincerity, authenticity, and variety. And now let me explain those 3.
Go
right?
for it. I love that answer.
Sincerity wise, I think you guys would agree. Everyone, and I promise we'll wrap this up soon. We're talking
we're
here. I love this. Yeah.
We're drinking whiskey.
We are.
Drinking beer.
Yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying it. But sincerity wise, I hope you've noticed that everyone we've had on this show, podcast, whatever you want to call it, is just a good human. They're just good people.
They have a deep heart for what they're actually
doing.
doing.
And that's not a prerequisite when we book people. It just happens to be everyone in the hospitality, maybe not everyone, that might be a gross over-exaggeration, but the majority, I feel like, of people in the hospitality industry are just good people.
The majority of people that are making a difference
there you go.
Are good people within Tulsa.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing. The authenticity is that they're just true to themselves.
Yeah. And
they don't let public opinion wave them. They're just confident in their vision.
And they
just strive towards it. And I love that. Aaron Post is especially, like, that's the one that drove that home for me. He fucking created an entire culture when he opened St. Vitus. That did not exist in Tulsa.
How do you create, and he could correct me, but that is basically a Czech style nightclub.
Sure. Yeah.
I know that he says, or they say that it's a Euro style
Czechoslovakia was in,
but it's
Europe.
It is a Czech style nightclub here in Tulsa.
All because he's George Turbo.
Yeah.
All because he likes to DJ.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? We need a place where guys can go, ladies can go, not kids, but younger people can go.
Feel out of place.
Right. Just let your hair down, have fun. I have a friend, I won't name her, who her nightly ritual after she goes out and drinks way too much at other places around town is to go to St. Vitus and dance, because she dances, like she sweats out the alcohol. The next morning she's not hungover. She's obviously younger than us, because it wouldn't work for you and I. No. But it's a thing. Like,
yeah.
It's just Aaron created, and that's not to, say other guests haven't created culture, but he literally nothing like St. Vitus existed in Tulsa prior to him opening St. Vitus.
Also the cool thing about that nightclub is, let's say a mid 30-year-old as myself can feel comfortable going in there.
Sure.
And have a good time.
No one judges your awful dance moves. It's just a thing.
It's not like a, well.
And I almost messaged you. So the Saturday after we had Aaron on, he spun at
You should have messaged me.
And this past Saturday, he spun. But I'm not dancing anything with my bum ankle. So in a couple weeks, when Turbo's back on the...
Also...
Back on the...
This Saturday,
we'll go dance.
I was...
Oh, that was St. Patrick's Day.
I was in my bed.
That was St. Patrick's Day for you.
I was not going to go out.
Yeah.
No,
and then Variety was my third. And it's because just look at the variety of things that have been brought here. And so when we book guests, what we say is bring whatever's inspiring you.
Yep.
Like at the moment. Lisa brought a whole entire section of the non-alcoholic drinks from Ranch Acres.
Nine
I mean,
drinks.
unreal.
Yeah.
Trevor Tack brought a hot plate and cooked steak and dry aged, right? And so that whole thing is about, that's another conversation. We need to have him or someone from that establishment back on soon.
We'll have Tom on.
That's about to open up soon. Hemingway. And then, I mean, Aaron brought a 1991, but it was aged 12 years. So it was a 79 wild turkey. I mean, come on.
That's 13 years.
Noah brought wine from Cicerna over in like where the legend is Cyclops in the mountains. Like, I mean, it's just like we've had people that, I mean, Nick Cochran brought Korean inspired barbecue. Like, it's just the imagination and the variety of things that you can find here in Tulsa is second to none.
Do you know his path?
Let me rephrase that. It's not second to none because you can find more variety in like New York, but it's a big ass city. So if you compared the variety of things you can find here with the size of the population, I would say it's second to none. Yeah.
Do you know where Nick's going?
I do know where Nick's going.
Yeah.
Watershed Group.
Do you know what we're doing with him?
No, that I don't know.
I can make that announcement.
Okay. He has a big announcement to make at some point on the podcast.
Yeah.
A little
but
later.
This is not the announcement.
But this is not secondary, but this is just another announcement.
So I don't know what the name is because they've
Alley Cat Barbecue, I think is what they're going with. That's the last I heard.
The last thing that I heard was the Pump.
Well, they can't call it the Pump because that's in Oklahoma City.
Or whatever. But
I love the Pump in Oklahoma City, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't call it that. No, we're making a beer for them.
Sweet. What kind of beer?
It's going to be an American rice lager.
I love rice lagers.
Going to be, I want it to be 3.9% and as crushable.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, 4.4%, like this isn't that far off.
No.
But why is corn called a cerveza, or what do they call it? A Mexican style lager. And a rice lager isn't called a Oriental style lager.
Sure.
Or Chinese style lager or Japanese
It's because whatever. We as America were the first ones to make produce beer with rice in America.
Okay.
And also we actually make the most rice because of Texas.
Do we really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't consume the most rice, though.
No.
Okay.
But because of Texas and Arkansas and Missouri, we actually import rice to
export?
Japan. Export rice to Japan.
That blows my mind. Turner, did you know that? Yeah, I didn't know that either. He's shaking his head no.
Texas, most of Texas's rice is exported to Japan.
Why is Texas a good rice? It's not wet enough.
I'm not an agricultural guy.
But you think of like rice farms And like when you watch all the cooking shows that I watch on Netflix, it's like halfway underwater. Texas doesn't get that much water.
I don't know. I'm
not calling you wrong. I'm just really confused that's.
I am connected enough to know that, but
fair.
I'm speechless or I can't define.
Fair. I'm looking at your hat because this is the first time you haven't worn a Cabin Boys hat. What is Hoodoo Brewing Company?
They're Alaskan brewing company.
That's a really cool name.
Yeah.
Hoodoo Brewing Company.
You know what a hoodoo is?
No.
It's when so a canyon basically forms standing rock structures in cylindrical form.
Say that again.
I don't know how else to say it. Rock structures in cylindrical form.
That's not the right word.
Cylindrical? Round, cylindrical.
You're putting a T in there that is not in there.
Cylindrical.
I'm going to let you just go with it.
That's my Okie coming out.
We're good with it.
Cylindrical form. Cylindrical form.
I love that. I don't think that's right. Turner, what's the right word for that? There it is.
Thank you.
We're just going to go with that. Oh, man.
But yeah, a hoodoo is basically rocks standing in a cylindrical form.
What's funny is what I thought you were going to say is when I said hoodoo and then you said something about canyons, I thought you were going to say it's what people used to yell like hoodoo into the canyon to hear it. Hoodoo, hoodoo,
no. So it's actually a
Echo
Native
through.
American saying. So the first time that I heard about hoodoos was in Utah. And we doing okay?
I was just looking at how long we've been rambling over here.
I mean, we're having fun.
Yeah.
Was in Utah in the Bryce Canyon.
Okay.
And they've got Bryce Canyon is basically made of 100% hoodoo formations. And the Native Americans called them that because it was basically like when someone would die, the hoodoo was formed in the canyon or something like that. So
interesting.
Yeah. But Lisa and I visited Hoodoo Brewing.
I would have so much fun with that name.
It was in Fairbanks. It was in Fairbanks, Alaska, and we visited him last year.
You know what I did? I bought canned smoked salmon from Heirloom from a place called Wild Fish Cannery in Alaska. It
Probably
was
somewhere
very close to Hoodoo. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So when you come Sunday to the F1, that's the one thing. I love people that think outside the box.
Yeah.
Actually, and there's so many things we're going to talk to Jake about whenever he comes on the show. Probably next week, I would hope, if he's healthy. Maybe the week after.
Hopefully.
But one of the things...
If he's been sick for 3 weeks...
Yeah, he just hasn't felt well. Yeah, I know. But he's big into the fish conservation and all that kind of stuff. He's a big outdoorsman. But they're now selling a bunch of canned seafood stuff. Like I have one can left in my pantry of smoked oysters. So it's a can of smoked oysters. But I had the Wild Fish Cannery. You all right? Nope, not yet. Now we're good. But that smoked salmon, so go to Heirloom and check it out. They have a bunch of mussels right now. Jake kind of upped the mussel game. So there's 3 or 4 different brands, different flavors, different whatever. And it's all canned. It lasts forever in the pantry. It's just fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just different.
That's cool.
But it fits Jake 10,000%.
100%.
You know? Yeah.
If Cabin Boys did something, it'd have to be like, I don't know.
Canned venison.
Yeah, canned venison. Yeah.
Because when I came over and ate with you guys, we had venison.
Yep.
And then I just saw your wife post something about venison What was it? It was venison in the meal, but it was like in the sauce or something.
It was venison sauce on top of.
Was it eggplant?
No.
No.
It wasn't eggplant. It was.
Either way.
Yeah.
The Cabin Boys outdoor feel,
Yeah.
the wood everywhere. Like it would have to be something you shot yourself, right?
Probably.
Canned venison. That sounds disgusting.
That sounds terrible.
Anyway, let's wrap this up. That's a horrible business idea. So we'll just wrap this up. When can people buy 918 Cerveza?
So we're going to release 918 Cerveza in cans.
So what?
Tomorrow?
Today's Tuesday. So I will
Yeah.
try to have this posted Wednesday morning.
Well,
So say today.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll release this.
Or just say the day of the week. There we go.
It could be Thursday that we release this. It's already released in kegs around
Okay.
Tulsa, so
Can they get it in the tap room right now?
they can get it in the tap room right now. But the cool thing is this is really the release of the brand. We released it in kegs last year because
I thought you had. Yeah, I thought so.
because we wanted it to be released within the stadium, and a couple of bars and restaurants picked it up. But this is truly the release of the Tulsa-wide
Sweet.
representation.
Will this be
of
in stores?
brand. This will be in stores. We've been talking
Probably
to,
a week or so later. Maybe two.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking to Whole Foods, Reese's, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, even Walmart. This is going to be a big deal.
You're going big time.
This is going to be a big.
It's a really good beer. I
Yeah,
like this a lot.
it's really easy drinking, really crushable.
Yep.
But yeah, it'll be in stores next week.
Sweet. You want to go to Hodges and find Aaron Franklin?
100%.
Let's go. We'll see you guys next week on the Tasting Room.
Cheers.